p.m. Eastern on Periscope. She's also a Shorty Awards nominee for Periscoper of the Year, and will be speaking, I think, twice at Summit.Live, and just has a lot going on, has been doing her media tour throughout the day. And so basically, Leslie, let's start off with what is it like to be a superstar who's booked on every show?
It's been quite the day, and it's been like totally exciting and so much fun. And so I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be anywhere, as Keith Richards says. So now I'm quoting the Rolling Stones. Oh my goodness. It's been a long day. But no, it's great. It's great. And I'm really excited, honestly, that so many people want to share my message. And it's very humbling. So.
That's cool. So how did you find out that you were a nominee for the Shorty Awards?
Well, I got this email that said, congratulations, you've been nominated. And that's all I could see. And I almost deleted it.
I bet you're glad you didn't do that.
So I almost deleted it because I don't know if you've ever gotten one of these emails that says, congratulations, you've been nominated. And you open it and it says, and if you give us like $10,000, we will give you this prize, and you can have a prize and you can say you won something. And we used to get this in our business all the time, our retail business. And so, like clock shop of the year or whatever. And I almost deleted it because I thought it was like one of those things. And then I opened it and I almost fell off the treadmill. I was like, what? I mean, I was like hyperventilating, and not from running, but because I was so excited. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I mean, then I go right to the website. I'm like, is this a hoax? Is this for real? Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was very surreal and very humbling, and I cried and I laughed and I screamed, and I was in the house by myself and I danced and I shouted, and it was all good. So
when you kind of made out your plans for world domination for 2017, a Shorty Award wasn't even on the radar for that, right? You had no thought about that, did you?
I had no, not at all. I mean, it wouldn't even cross my ideas to even put it on like a dream board, or I don't even do one of those, but it wouldn't even cross I had no idea. And I just could hardly believe it. I mean, Robin, before I could tell anybody, he was like, my husband, Robin, was like, let's make sure that this is for real. I'm like, right? I mean, I don't even, well, you and I talked, and I told you, like, you were like one of the second person to know. And I told you, and I was like, but don't tell anybody, because I'm not ready to tell anybody. And you're like, come on, let's tell some people. So, yeah.
Right. And so I finally saw you post it, and I'm like, I still asked you, I think, is it okay now for me to
I know.
tweet about it?
The cat got out of the bag very quickly. My community found out very fast, and it was like going through like Twitter and Facebook like crazy. And I was like, okay, I guess we can talk about it. I guess it's real. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So they were more on top of what was going on with the Shorty Awards than you were in the beginning.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I was getting emails and texts, and I was on my broadcast, and everybody's like, do you know you've been nominated for a Shorty Award? I'm like, yes, I know. It's freaky. And
So what kind of, have you received any communication from them? Do you know what the next step is, or how things kind of work from here through the award ceremony?
They're super they're like the best communicators I've ever seen for such a large event. I mean, because it's not just for social media. Well, it is for social media, but I mean, they have innovators and influencers and, actors and actresses and, shows and YouTube. I mean, it's for all kinds of things. And there's tons and tons of categories that people are nominated for. And, the young man that I got I guess he's young. I'm just going to assume he's young. I don't know. He could be like 70. I have no idea. The man that I got the email from, he's been so great at communicating with me. He sent me the first email. I sent an email back that same day, going, are you for real? And thank you, Mark. And he communicated right back. And so today I actually got another email saying, hey, it's the last week. So, hey, Jen. Sorry, I'm saying hi to everybody. But they've been really great. And every time I tweet, they retweet. They must have 20 people on their Twitter team, because every time somebody tweets, they retweet and they share, and they've been amazing. So I'm really happy to be associated with something so like professional and on top of it, and really wanting to promote you as a nominee. So that's super cool.
And when does the voting end for this round? So that people know they got to cast their votes soon, right?
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, the 16th is the last day at 11:59 p.m. We can all vote till then. And then I guess that they picked 6. There's 12 of us now. They narrow it down to 6 to the finalists. And then the finalists are invited to New York City for the award ceremony, which I think is like April 23rd.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I know. I'm so excited. I mean, if I just make top 6, I would be like, I mean, being nominated is ridiculously cool. And then making top 6 would just be, yeah. I'm not even talking about what I do if I won it.
Did you know who the other people were, or have you like taken a look at their broadcasts, or what? Of course.
Yeah. I mean, we are all like trolling each other. I mean, I totally get trolled by these people. No, I'm kidding. I don't, not really. But yeah, no, I mean, there's some great people nominated, and the competition is really tough. So I'm actually one of the smallest audiences out there. In fact, I haven't looked at everybody's that's in the nominees, but I think I have the smallest audience on Periscope that has been nominated. So it's going to take an act of God to beat like Brie Olson, who has like 1 million followers on Periscope. I mean, yeah. I'm not kidding. She has like 890,000 followers on Periscope. I don't even know how you get that far.
So clearly they recognize the quality of your show rather than just going, what are the 12 biggest shows, right? I mean, you got to feel good about that, even if that makes it tougher to win a voting.
Yeah, and I think it says a lot about them as well. I mean, that they don't, they're not actually going out there for the biggest, best, whatever. They're actually digging into content and figuring out, what 12 people best represent, a wide variety in Periscope. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Very cool.
Cool. So we're talking with Leslie Nance. This is Livestream Stars. It's every Monday night, except next week we're not doing any of our normal broadcasts. We'll be at Summit.Live and maybe do some things from there, but no updates, no regular shows next week. We've had Leslie on before, and of course talked to her about how she got into live streaming and her show. But tomorrow is not only Valentine's Day for you, it's a pretty significant milestone. You will have been now cancer-free for 4 years. Talk about what it means to you to reach that date, and kind of weird kind of sharing it with Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah. So when I scheduled my surgery, this is because the February 14th marks my, when I actually had the cancer removed. So literally cancer free at that point. So, February 14th is an important date for me in a lot of respects, and I won't go into why, but it seems like the most amazing things happened to me the week of Valentine's. Like my whole life, it's been like that. And so I had the cancer removed. And I mean, I guess one of the biggest things is that when I cross the 5-year mark, so 1 more year, when I cross the 5-year mark, the reoccurrence rate for the type of cancer that I had goes down by 70%.
Wow.
So, yeah. And they told me, I mean, they were not trying to be Debbie Downers. They were trying to be practical, that if I didn't do chemo, that I could very possibly a high percentage, like in the 70 to 80 percentile, could have a reoccurrence of cancer within that first year after my diagnosis if I didn't do the chemo and I didn't do all the stuff, all the drugs that they wanted me to do. And I resisted that and said, no, I'm just going to kind of go my own way. And so here we are 4 years later, just had scans about 4 months ago and completely cancer free. So,
wow.
Huge milestone. I celebrate that day for a lot of reasons. I mean, now it's that being cancer free for that long is that little lump that they removed is like helping all these other people, right?
Right.
with their journeys as well. So, thank you, lump. Thank you for being there. Not many people say thank you to their cancer, but I can honestly say thank you to my cancer and be grateful for it. So.
And one of the ways that you are helping people is through how sharing your kitchen, sharing what you eat and how you prepare food and the basic, not so much like eat this, don't eat that, right? But more like this is the philosophy of real food and why you should consider eating this way and so forth. For people who may be new to your show or your story, can you kind of give a summary of your approach to eating and how you kind of develop Lunch with Leslie?
Yeah, so Lunch with Leslie came about, I thought it was the cheesiest title in the whole world, but it just kind of was like the perfect thing. And so I kept it anyway. But Lunch with Leslie came about because I wanted to teach people how to fall in love with their kitchens. I want you to go into your kitchen and be excited about it, not go into your kitchen and go, oh, my kitchen, I have to work in my kitchen, and I'm not talking about falling in love with your granite countertops and your beautiful cherry cabinets and, your $10,000 Viking range. I'm talking about falling in love with it from a perspective that you want to be in there and you want to be cooking and you want to be, making your body inhospitable to cancer with the food that you're eating. And so that show is that's all that's about. That's all we talk about. We talk about being in the kitchen, having fun recipes, enjoying food, talking about what food does in our body, because it's information that we give our bodies, and either you're giving it good information or you're giving it bad information. And so that is really the premise of the show. But as you know, we have a lot of fun in there as well. So, it's not always about just, eat this, don't. In fact, it's never about eat this or don't eat that. It's more about, this is how fantastic food is and how you should enjoy it. And the approach that I've taken, I have to tell you, the feedback that I get from my community, it's working. I mean, people are excited about being in their kitchen. They're excited about cooking again. They're excited about trying new foods, which is my goal. It's my main goal, is getting people to be excited about eating whole, real foods again. So,
and can you share a few tips for people who want to get started on that journey, like a few principles or a few guidelines to follow in terms of what to eat? And I know it's not what to eat and what not to eat, but
I understand.
Kind of couldn't think of a more artful way to ask the question, so I came right back to what to eat, what not to eat. Can you just tell me what to eat and what not to eat so I can be healthy? Make it easy for me.
I wish it was that easy. So I really don't focus on what to eat or what not to eat. I do focus on the principles of real food eating. So thinking outside the can, the box, the package, the bottle, the jar. Stop eating processed foods. I mean, if I could tell you to do one thing right now that you could do today, that would be get out of the drive-through, stop it, and think outside the can, the jar, the bottle, the box. Start making foods from scratch. Start thinking about foods in their most natural state. So eating foods as close to their natural state as possible that are not processed. I call them unadulterated. So unadulterated foods. And you can eat as many of those as you want. Go crazy, have fun. Eat all the vegetables. In fact, even if you're a meat eater, you can't eat all the meat you want, but I guess you could. It'd still be better than Jack in the Box or Burger King or whatever. But just thinking outside of that, and when you're in the grocery store, being mindful about what you eat and what you buy. So, one of the two biggest tips I hear from other people is never go to the grocery store hungry, and always shop the outside perimeter of the grocery store. And there is some truth in that. There's actually some truth in that, but grocery stores are getting sneaky and they're starting to put those processed foods in the outside perimeter now. So, the chip aisle has moved from the center of the grocery store to the edge of the grocery store. And so you want to stay out of the chip aisle. So don't go, I can shop the perimeter and, throw all the Lay's potato chips into your cart. So, or that's how it is in like every grocery store I've been in lately. So just, eating plant-based, thinking about plants, not just vegetables or fruits, but just plants in general. That would be a huge tip. And then another tip that will change your life today. You can start it tomorrow morning. It will change your life. If you do it for 2 weeks, I promise you, it will change your life. And that is something very, very simple, crazy simple. And that is drinking 8 to 16 ounces of water every morning before you do anything else. just drink 8 to 16 ounces before you do anything else. I mean, literally, before you brush your teeth, before you take a shower, before you eat anything, before you do anything, 8 to 16 ounces, do it for 2 weeks, send me an email and tell me that you don't see significant changes throughout your day because of that. It's crazy, but it's true.
You're watching Livestream Stars with our guest, Leslie Nance. Today is Monday, and we are on every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I want to give a quick shout out to some of our friends who have joined us. Barb Tomlin, Jeff Adams, Joanne is here, Doug Cohen, Wayne, Jen Nelson, Mark Mason, and anybody else who's watching, throw a little comment in the chat so we know you're here. Share it out. Let your friends know we want to support Leslie. Vote Go, the number 2 kitchens. Vote go2kitchens.com to support Leslie for the Shorty Awards Perisoper of the year. I'm Ross Brand from livestreamuniverse.com, and this is Livestream Stars. And so glad to have Leslie on for the second time. Truly one of the real stars of the live stream community and hosting a show that really provides value to a lot of people. Now, with Summit.Live coming up, what are your thoughts on Summit.Live? What are you thinking that, your messaging is going to be, or what kind of, what are your plans for the event?
Okay, so now I have to tell a story because I have to give you some props here, Ross.
Okay.
Ross and I were having a conversation one day, and I was talking about what I wanted to talk about at live, at Summit.Live. And Ross said, can I butt in a little bit and give you some advice? And I was like, yeah, please. I'm flying by the seat of my pants every single day. So yes, some advice would be awesome. And the title of my talk is actually Preventing Cancer Through Livestreaming. And I cannot take any credit for that. That is Ross's title that he thought would be good for what I wanted to talk about. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And it's so powerful and so meaningful. And I hope that you find that I do it justice at Summit this year, because it meant a lot for me, for you to be so interested in what I'm doing. So that is all you.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored to be there and to see you speak this year. It's gonna be amazing, and it's just gonna be a fun time being out there and meeting so many different people and friends that we know through online, but now to meet them in person, perhaps see them speak, and just get to spend time with them. You've done a fair amount now. Like I saw you first time I saw you speak was at iSugar, and that was tremendous. If you want a taste of what Leslie does, just go look that up on YouTube. It was awesome. Have you gotten to the point where like you can do your speech and you just feel like you can share the story now, or is there times where you're like, geez, I don't really feel like going into the cancer story? Like, how do you approach that? Because I mean, it's like kind of what people identify, and it's kind of what inspires people, but it's also can't be an easy topic to talk about all the time, right?
It is a tough topic, and it's heavy. I mean, it's a heavy subject, right? I mean, as soon as you say the C word, everybody's like, oh, and I will tell you, I kind of am on a mission to normalize the conversation around it, because I think so many times that we hear somebody that says, oh, I have cancer, or oh, my sister has cancer, or oh, my mom has cancer. And we kind of like recoil, right? We're like, oh my goodness, and so I would like to find some normality that we can talk about it without having that total recoil. And hey, is that a movie? No, that's Total Recall. Sorry. But we can have that recoil, that doesn't happen, that we go, oh my goodness, so what are they doing? That we can normalize a conversation around that. And I think the more and more hope that we provide in the world, not just me, but there are a lot of people doing the work that I do, the more that we provide hope for something, the less that we get that recoil when we talk about it. So do I ever get tired of talking about it? No, not really. Is it a heavy subject? Yes. Do a lot of people not want to talk about it? Absolutely. But it's something that's just so, it's my, I was listening to a TED Talk. I can't remember her name, but I was listening to a TED Talk, and she was saying, but my breast cancer does not define me. And I have to tell you, my breast cancer does define me. It does define what I do. It does define what I want to see different and the change that I want to see in the world. And so my cancer does define me, and I proudly take that mantle on of, yes, I'm a cancer survivor, and this is what I'm doing with that. So yeah, some days I'm like, let's talk about bubble gum. That would be an awesome thing to talk about. But inevitably we talk about, don't chew bubble gum that has saccharin in it because it can cause cancer. Right. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love to bring in comments and questions from the chat, even if they're a little bit off what we're just talking about. And there seems to be a discussion going on. Jeff Adams, Jen Nelson, about whether wine is good for you or not. Is wine acceptable? I know you don't say what to do, not to do, but where does wine fit into the into the diet, into the anti-cancer lifestyle? Right.
So if you're currently battling cancer, I would say any type of alcohol should be off limits. The second question that they asked me on my questionnaire when I was diagnosed with cancer is, how much alcohol do you drink? Now, if the medical community is willing to ask that question, then there's something to that. So I would say if you're currently battling cancer, then no, you should not. Is it okay to indulge every once in a while? Absolutely. Is it okay to put your body in emergency mode on a daily basis with alcohol? Probably not. And that would be an overindulgence. That's what they wanted to know. How much do you drink daily? I didn't drink at all, still had cancer, so that tells you something. How much do you drink daily is the question that they want to know. And if you're more than 2 or 3, I can't remember, as a female, you're put in a much higher risk category for cancer. So yeah, so I'll dance around that question just a little bit. I won't give you my personal opinion because Jen's here.
I think you said it without saying it.
Love you,
Jen. Jen says it's all about balance.
It's true. And that's true with any kind of food or anything. I just got the question a couple of days ago, am I eating too much cinnamon and turmeric? And I'm like, well, you could, is that dangerous? I was like, well, you can eat too much or drink too much of anything, even spinach. I mean, you can't be all Popeye up on the spinach. So you have to be a little careful with the balance and everything that you eat. So, and drink.
And you probably don't want to take the spinach from the can, right? You want to get the fresh stuff.
Yeah. If you're going to eat spinach that is not fresh spinach, then you should do frozen, not the can.
Right. Not the can.
Even if you can squeeze it open, even like Popeye, and it pops out. And anyway, okay, Popeye fan, hello. Anyway.
Right. So we're talking with Leslie Nance. If you haven't voted yet, go to voteGo2Kitchens.com. Vote go the number 2 kitchens.com. Support Leslie for Shorty Awards Perisoper of the Year. One of 12 nominees. We want to see her get into the top 6 and come to New York, and perhaps even win the award, which would just be phenomenal. But even getting nominated is a phenomenal accomplishment. Have you seen any changes in, have your views gone up, or have you, had any sort of reaction from the general public or from media or anything since you've been nominated?
Yeah, so big media push. I mean, we got covered 300 times.
Wow.
We issued a press release. Yeah, we got 300 stories published across the United States, mostly small stories, but amazing coverage for that. I think it's kind of put me in front of some people and made people kind of go, oh, who's this girl and where'd she come from? So yes, it has done that. Have my views gone up? Not really. No. I mean, I have a really balanced, consistent amount of views, and I love that, actually, that they're very consistent and they grow steadily, but not on they never juggernaut, out of control where I'm like, I don't know what to do with all these people. So that's nice, because then I have a chance to filter them into the places where they belong, where they'll get the best information. So it allows me to be as personable as I can be, and as personal as I can be with my audience, which is paramount to me. I mean, it's important to me to know the people that watch my show and know what they're dealing with and how I can help them. So, yeah.
That's great. Good to see Nick Rishwain here. Sabrina Cadini is here. Jay Garrett was here. Maybe still be here. Nat X is here, or Nax is here. Says, that's how I found you, Leslie. So glad I did. So what's coming up? I know you often bring little new elements, new themes into your show. What can we look for coming up in the next few months with Lunch with Leslie?
Yeah, so Lunch with Leslie is going to continue being weekdays at noon Mountain Time on Periscope. That's going to just continue on. We do a theme, so we're going to stick with our themes for now. You know, we do a themed week every week, just so people can have the consistency and know what to expect for that week and if they're interested or not. I think the biggest thing that we're introducing is in our private community. So if you go to my website and sign up to become a VIP, we have a private Facebook group called the Go To Kitchens VIP Lounge. And it's where people hang out after the show and during the weekend when I'm not broadcasting. We just started a new show there called Be Inspired. And we use Be Live TV. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. I've had 2 episodes so far, and I bring in people who inspire me mentally, physically, with their story. I mean, it's been crazy cool. And the community has just been so excited about it. So that's probably the newest addition to the live broadcasting for Lunch with Leslie and for what we're doing with Go To Kitchen. So we're going to go through a revamp later this year of our website so that you can actually watch live from the website if you're so inclined. We are launching a new program, actually 2 new programs this year, one for knife skills and another one for basic cooking that you can join that will just give you some basic cooking techniques and improve your knife skills, which is super important when you're in a healthy journey, that you know how to use your big giant chef's knife. So I'm really excited about that. I just really sharpened, no pun intended, get it? Oh, never mind. Sharpened my own knife skills. And so I'm ready to teach them back out. And so in a very practical, hands-on, not culinary, not chefy way, like very unchefy. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Every time I read, you're doing a show on knife skills, and I read it in the update as somebody who isn't that familiar with the kitchen. Yeah. I always think, okay, there's going to be a fight today or something.
I know, right?
I guess this is a self-defense. Today's going to be a self-defense.
Right?
Oh,
you go all down like
cutting the food. Okay.
Yeah, knife skills for us. It's not like Indiana Jones or anything. We're not like, we're not throwing knives or anything like that. It's full on kitchen skills. So, yeah.
So you go live in your Facebook group just for your group using Be Live TV. That's interesting. So you're using different tools as well, and then you use Periscope for your daily broadcast.
Yeah. So Periscope is my net. Mm-hmm. It's my big net waving in the ocean out there, catching people that are interested. So typically what I see happen is people watch me for a couple of weeks. They're totally silent. I don't even know they're watching. And then all of a sudden they're commenting, on my broadcast, and I'm like, hey, it's a new person or whatever. And then they show up in the VIP group because they've gone to my website and signed up there. And so that's typically the funnel that we send them through. It's a very small funnel, but we send them through that funnel so that they can get more personalized resources in our VIP group. So because that group isn't giant. I mean, it's under 500 people right now. It won't be for long, but it's, it is under it's at a level right now that I can actually pay attention to every single post that goes in there and the questions people have. So we have a lot of after the show conversations there. We have a lot of, I posted this broadcast there so that they could come and see it. So it's kind of up to date, and I do a lot of behind the scenes, and I do stuff that I don't release anywhere else. So you have to be a VIP to get this secret information about stuff that's coming up and access to classes and stuff like that.
How can people join your VIP group?
So you go to, you can just go to G2K, the number 2K, VIP.com, and it's just an email address. We are not even like fishing for more information. It's just an email address, right? I know. Everybody's like, oh, you should have different lead pages. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is all I need right now. So yeah, so you just sign up there. You get a whole bunch of free stuff. You get a jumpstart guide called Cancer Hates It. It's a jumpstart guide into making your body inhospitable to cancer that I wrote from my perspective of my cancer journey. And you get access to that Facebook group when you do that. So,
awesome.
And it's fun. We have fun.
And Nick mentions that if you added throwing knives to your scope, you'd probably get more viewers.
Right? I know. All right, so Nick, I'm going to think about that.
Sharpen your knife skills for cooking. Yeah, have somebody go against the wall and you throw it. No, maybe not. Maybe we don't want to even.
Have you ever seen the movie Long Kiss Goodnight, Ross?
I have not.
Okay, so first of all, if you like movies, you have to see this movie. It's amazing. It's Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson, and it's amazing. But Gina Davis is a character that has amnesia. She was an amnesia chick. Anyway, and she's in the kitchen, and she's kind of cutting through this carrot, and she's doing a terrible job. And she was a spy. I'm kind of giving it away, but she was a spy and she doesn't remember that she was a spy. And so she's cutting through this carrot with this giant knife and her husband's like, you got an ETA on that carrot. And then all of a sudden she starts flying through the carrot. And then she picks up a tomato and she throws it up in the air and she throws the knife and it sticks in the cabinet. And she was like, before that, she says, maybe I was a chef as she's cutting through, and she throws up the tomato and the knife goes right through the tomato and it sticks in the cabinet. And she looks at him and she's like, chefs do that. And so Robin is always saying that to me. He's like, chefs do that. I'm like, right? I know. So anyway, so maybe I could perfect that skill. We could stick a knife in the cabinet. So
Nick's is easy on the liabilities. The lawyer is speaking up. Terry Johnson. Terry Johnson does remember the movie. Barb says, absolutely amazing movie. One of my favorites. Reminds me of someone I know.
See? It's a great movie. Yeah.
So don't forget to vote for Leslie. The vote is coming to an end on Thursday, but head on over as soon as the show's done. Don't leave yet, but as soon as the show is done, head on over, vote, go, the number 2 kitchens, vote go2kitchens.com to support Leslie for Shorty Awards Periskoper of the Year. That still sounds awesome. Every time I read it, I still like, yes, one of our own is going for the award.
It still sounds awesome to me too. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, they're talking about me. I forget, so.
Have you planned any kind of like special celebration or anything if you get into the top 6 or if you win the award or whatever? Have you thought about like what you're going to do or?
If I get top 6 and I am in New York City, I am not making any promises, but I am thinking that I am going to have to buy this very special pair of shoes that I've had my eyes on for quite a while. In fact, I made the joke to Robin. I was like, if I get top 6, I'm buying the Louboutins, if you know what those are. And he said, I think that you should. And I was like, really? I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. They're like the Lamborghini of shoes. So they're the ones with the red soles, that are so popular. Anyway, I'm buying the Louboutins. Possibly. We'll see. But no.
Somebody, Terry Johnson says your website is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Diana says party at Leslie's. That's all it's on.
I know. One more thing I will say is that very rarely do I ever drink anything. I mean, I'm just not a drinker, but we do have a very special bottle of champagne that we've been saving for a special occasion. Right. And if we get top 6, I bet that gets opened. So
that would be good. That would be a good occasion, right?
Right. Yeah.
Kevin Black asks, I think you can vote often too. Is that right? Can you vote more than once or?
Yeah, you can vote every day. And if you share it on Facebook and Twitter, you get 2 more votes. So you can get 3 votes every 24 hours.
If you share it on both Facebook and Twitter.
That's correct. And tag me so I know that you voted at Go2 Kitchens, both places. If you'll tag me and I know that you voted, that would be awesome. So I can give you a shout out. So
Hey, Jenny Q is here. Hey, two of the best people in live streaming. Thank you, Jennifer. So good to see you. So this has been great. I'm so glad to have you back. You know, last time you were on, I think it was early December, maybe, and Twitter was pretty new to go live, and we were kind of talking a little bit about how that might change things for people who have been focused on Periscope, and would you go live from Periscope or go live from Twitter? What do you think now that you've had some experience since the change? Has it made a difference? Have you changed anything that you know, in your approach?
So I still am doing Periscope mostly, and I'll tell you why. It's because I forget to go live. I'm dead serious. I get halfway through. That was
a scientific answer. I was like,
I know. So I get halfway through my broadcast and I'm like, oh, bugger. I was supposed to go live. So about half of my broadcasts are on go live and half of them are on Periscope, but really it's still the same thing. They still get shared to Twitter the same way. They get viewed on Twitter the same way. So, you know, it's only differences is if I remember to use the hashtag go live, but I have so many hashtags that I want to use. Right. I'm like squeezing them all in. So anyway, I need a bit.ly for hashtags is what I need. So.
I know. When I share your show, I always like, okay, which hashtag am I going to have to delete today so I can get something else in?
I know. I am like, I love all the hashtags. And so I want people to find me the right way and get the information that they're actually looking for. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned that if Periscope goes away, like how you'll kind of be able to, I don't know, notify your core? Like Periscope, everybody gets notifications if they follow you and they turn notifications on. So that's how your community can kind of stay in touch and know when you're going to be on and get reminded and everything. Obviously, if that merges into Twitter, now you're dealing with a larger number of people. And will that, like, have you thought about how that might work, or have you heard any speculation on how that might work if that happens?
Right. So I've talked to several people that are concerned. I mean, my biggest concern is what happens to all those followers that I've been working for a year and a half for over on Periscope. I love Periscope because of the communication factor. I mean, it's so easy to communicate so effectively, and it's real time, not like real time, kind of little bit slower than real time, but it's like real time. As soon as I say something, you know, I can say, somebody tell me what, you know, this means. And I get an answer just like, you know, boom. And so that's what I love about it. I love that interaction is so authentic there. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of concerns about what happens to Periscope and Twitter. And as they get closer to, you know, merging together, what does that look like? Do all my Periscope followers go over to Twitter, and do I all of a sudden have 13,000 followers on Twitter? Or, you know, what does that look like, and how does that change? So my plan is, if something happens there, that I would probably focus more on Facebook Live, honestly. I mean, just in all honesty, I would probably, because I have a huge audience sitting in my Facebook. And the reason I don't do Facebook Live now consistently is because you get lost in you get so lost in the shuffle and the viewership, and it's not completely 100% real time. So the interaction is different because of that. So, but Be Live makes it better. I mean, honestly, Be Live makes it way better. So something to consider.
Rosie Maria asks, why not use YouTube? It is a search engine. Do you use YouTube? Do you repurpose on YouTube or use it for some other purpose?
We will eventually. I mean, it's on our radar to repurpose all of our content there. I have a few things sitting out there right now, mostly from when Catch died. When Catch died, they gave us all of our stuff. They put it all out on YouTube for us, which was very nice of them and so responsible. I mean, honestly, for a company to die so gracefully was pretty amazing. But so they, I know.
We have another company that just went away with no warning.
I know, right? That did not die gracefully, but Catch died very gracefully and gave us all of our content that they had caught over the year. And so that was really nice of them to do that. And so that's primarily what's sitting out there right now. But the fantasy world is that every Periscope will get repurposed without all the introduction. So all the introduction will go away and it'll just be content driven. And we'll, you know, where I go into like my spiel when I'm answering somebody's question or something like that, that would go away and you would just get the content. But I don't have enough people on staff because I am the staff +1. I don't have enough people here to do that for me right now. So, and I'm doing all this media stuff and I'm so busy. So anyway, but that would be the ultimate goal, is to do that. And I would love to see YouTube go live without an interface, without a third-party interface. That would be amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, there's
Hopefully
a discussion in the chat about YouTube and Facebook Live and comments and going live versus going, uploading content and so forth, which another time I would love to get into more, because there's so much fascinating stuff around Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And, I think there's a lot people can learn about it. So I would love to have that discussion at another time. And I guess the fact that you don't have a staff, well, you have a +1, and I don't have a staff, is why when you say have your people call my people, it's usually me calling you, or you call.
Right, I know. It's like, hey, Ross, what's up? Yeah, okay.
We're going to do the show today, right?
Yeah. So, except you and I, it's not the phone. We get into these major like Facebook messaging sessions where I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just Facebooking with Ross for like an hour and a half. And Robin's like, are you still talking to Ross? I'm like, yes, and we're still talking. So, but great things come out of those conversations.
I know.
So.
I love Facebook Messenger.
I do too. I love it.
Like, that is my favorite way to communicate with people. Everybody that I communicate with regularly is right there. Just type a couple letters in, they come up. And now I've been calling people. Like, I don't even bother getting somebody's phone number. They want to chat, you just hit the call button on Facebook. And I was thinking, okay, it's not going to be really good quality, but like from a cell phone with Wi-Fi to another cell phone anywhere, like on the other side of the world, it's pretty good quality a lot of times.
Yeah, so, and I mean, I get these. Do you get these random? I get random people trying to call me on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. I mean, and then I think, what if it's somebody who's trying to like contact me for something good? And
if it's the Shorty Awards,
right? I know. What if they're like, hey, and by the way, you made top 6, and I'm like ignoring the phone call, ignore, block. Anyway. So.
I'm thinking like somebody like that on the first contact probably wouldn't call on Messenger, right?
Probably not.
So anyway, congratulations. Thanks so much for coming back on. And everybody, as soon as we're done, go over to votegotokitchens.com, votegotokitchens.com, vote for Leslie Nance for Periscoper of the Year. Shorty Awards voting is open until Thursday. Vote early, vote often. Vote as often as you can. Tweet it out. Share it on Facebook. Get yourself a few more votes each day, and also let other people know about it. And don't forget to catch Lunch with Leslie every Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Periscope. And also, Leslie will be speaking out at Summit.Live coming up next week. So thank you again. Always a blast. Yes.
Thank you, Ross.
All right. Have a great night. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.